Cannabis Talk 101. My name is Blue. Alongside of me is the Pop Brothers at Law, and you are now tuned into 101.5 KOCI. How we doing, guys?
Fantastic.
Wonderful this evening.
All right. So right now we're going to pop into some news and kind of update you on what's going on. Craig, let them know what's up in the news.
Well, we have a little environmental news, and I actually am for this in using the environmental laws against illegal grows.
Right.
They are allowing up in Humboldt County, if you get the right registration, you go to the water district, you get certifications that you're organic or not, or in order to use the water properly and the watershed effects of all that. And a lot of people are ignoring that. The old-time farmers are ignoring it, and they're coming down hard on a lot of these illegal grows that aren't complying with the new regulations.
Is it based on? I mean, what are some of the regulations? Do we know those, or have we dug into it that deep? Or?
I'm not that deep into the regulations, but I know they have to go to the water board and their certifications they have to get up there. We haven't had any clients up in that area, so we haven't dealt with that at this time.
Now, is that because of the droughts, you think? I mean, is that because Northern California isn't affected by...
Well, it's not necessarily just a drought. At the cannabis convention we were at last week, there was someone talking about the watershed.
Right.
Which is underground groundwater.
Sure.
And it's
just been snatched up.
It's the effects of the groundwater. It's the effects of some of the clear cut. They bulldoze in areas that shouldn't be.
Right.
And they just illegally go on federal land and just bulldoze and do it illegally. And that another thing that gives cannabis potentially a bad name when you can get legal, you can get regulated, you can get certified for the environmental issues and do it correctly.
Now,
and they're finding out that it's a lot easier for them to go after them for those environmental violations than criminally. Criminally, it's going to take a long time. The case and here they can abate and get them right out under those regulations that they're violating for environmental.
You know, one of the things too, I think, right now there's a ton of growers in Northern California, which we all kind of know that it's been something that's just been kind of set in stone all for since day one, I guess. But so I guess I'm wondering if they're afraid to come out and to step out into the to the light and say, hey, we're actually doing this in the cannabis industry. Give us a license. I mean, that could be detrimental for somebody that's not acting under the laws, and then they could get shut down, and just for, let's say, 6 months could, take out the crop.
That certainly could happen, but at some point in this fight to legalize cannabis, it's going to get regulated. It's going to be a business.
Has to be.
And the black market may still exist, but if you want to run a business, you have to do it right. And if you can't get the license, that doesn't give you license to break the law.
Sure, it's not a pass.
No, absolutely not.
We're talking about in Humboldt too, at the size of the country, of the county they're looking at is the size of Connecticut.
Wow.
Alone.
Wow.
That one area.
Sure.
And you have a lot of in the article that I was reading from, a lot of the quote unquote hippies who left San Francisco to go to Humboldt.
Right.
And they're just staunch, diehard. They might not ever get on the program.
Right. So, right now, too, just for our listeners out there listening to KOCI, give us a call. Let us know what you think. 949-650-1015. We're taking live questions today. Something that, you might want to talk about. Not necessarily this subject, maybe another subject that you have. Again, that number is 949-650-1015. And we have a very special guest with us today, Dr. Joe from The Recovery Show. How you doing, Doctor?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Good. Go ahead and plug the actual show for us. Like, how does the actual show... I know it's not just the Recovery Show. I believe there's a young lady with you, right?
Yeah. My partner on the air is Angelina.
Okay.
So it's the Recovery Show with Dr. Joe and Angelina is the formal name. And we're on every Thursday night live from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And we take calls, and every week's a different topic on the on addiction and recovery and treatment, sobriety, human connection. We try to celebrate that reconnection.
And you're certified in internal medicine, correct?
I'm board certified in internal medicine and addiction medicine, and Angelina is a licensed clinical social worker and she is a clinical director of a treatment center. So I think it's really cool that you guys are having me on the show. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be on the cannabis show of this radio station.
Well, let me ask you this:
with the Pop Brothers
at law,
Pop Brothers at
Pop
law.
Brothers at law.
Yes.
They are not actually related.
We are.
Oh, are you?
We are
actual
brothers.
Oh,
And they are attorneys. This is true.
this is magical.
He's older too.
Yeah. And I'm Blue, the other brother. I'm the step brother.
That's right. That's right. So, in your practice, is it mostly do you see? I don't even know if you can break it down to a percentage of alcohol addiction or disease, opiate overuse, prescription narcotic overuse. I would say, is that the majority of your practice?
Yeah, alcohol is still representing there. Opiates are definitely getting the spotlight. You hear opiate epidemic this, opiate epidemic. And it's true. It's growing, especially in Southern California. This neighborhood, it's crazy. Alcohol's always been there. And it's typically a combination of the two. And then you throw in sedatives like Xanax and Ativan and Valium, and you're dealing with real dangerous cocktails. So when people need help with their withdrawals, they usually come see me. And I'm the medical director of Hotel California by the Sea, which is a local treatment center. And,
Wonderful.
Wonderful name.
Now my question is, as far as cannabis goes, with some of the research that we've read about, because we're not doctors, but having to do with the cannabinoids and the receptors we have in our brain for the cannabinoids, that it can help regenerate the something in your head. If you can explain that, if you're aware, that'd be great
for our listeners at home.
Sure. I mean, THC contains psychoactive components, and it also contains cannabidiol, or CBD. It's what you hear about in CBD oil. Pure CBD is not psychoactive, so it doesn't get you high.
Right.
And it's got so many uses. And, you would think that I'd be completely against marijuana. I'm not. I mean, it's just like me being completely against alcohol.
Right.
If you can tolerate it and you're not an addict, have at it. It's less toxic to your body. I mean, and that's pretty obvious. But to your brain, especially the strains of THC that are coming out now. But to get back to your question, there's cannabinoid receptors, CB receptors 1 and 2 in every tissue of the body, especially your white blood cells. It's really interesting.
That's why it helps cancer.
Yeah, it does help some forms of leukemia. My aunt just recently died, but she was on CBD for a while, and her white count really responded well. It was amazing. And, I support the Epilepsy Foundation of Southern California. And, boy, when you see little kids suffering from seizures that don't go away with any of our modern medicines and surgeries that they're doing,
and it's an eye opener.
Why? If I'll tell you, if it was my children, I mean,
you commit the crime, which a lot of parents are being forced to commit crimes in their states or flee to other states to treat their kids.
I'm not here to be self-righteous. I'm just here to speak the truth. But if you're an addict, I mean, I don't recommend you go out and do this.
Right.
Right. At all, or have a history of addiction, even if it's another substance. So.
Okay. Well, right now we're going to go into a live caller. I think we have Bob on the line. We're going to see if we can get Bob from Long Beach. Give us just a moment here. What do we got? Let's see. Did we lose Bob? Let's see. Line 1. Bob, are you there? All right.
You went to New York.
Hey.
You went to, we got him?
Are we on? No Bob. So you went to New York. So where'd you graduate from?
Medical school?
Yeah.
State University in New York at Brooklyn. It's also called Downstate.
Well, why'd you want to become a doctor?
I've always known it since I was 4 or 5 years old.
He was there?
Where's Bob?
We lost
We
Bob.
apologize to Bob.
Bob never went away.
We have another caller.
We do apologize, Bob.
So, Ian, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, how you doing?
Ian, you're live on the air.
Yes.
Hey, how's it going? Craig and Mark, big-time fans of you guys. Follow you guys on Instagram. I want to thank you for everything you do for the community.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Right. So I want to talk about Proposition 64 and in the worst-case scenario, what happens to us as it stands if it does pass. Does Prop 215 go out the window?
Well, this is Big Brother, and I've read it, Prop 64. I'm not sure I've read it in maybe its final form as of yet. They're always making little changes. But I haven't seen anywhere in that proposition that in any way can get rid of Prop 215. I don't see where it overrides patients' rights. I just haven't seen it. I've seen people say it does. I've read it. I've asked some mentors of mine who are legislative people, and am I missing something? And I can't find anywhere where it's going to trump. If you have your medical card, you're going to have the rights that medical patients have as far as we're concerned. If we're missing something, someone tell me specifically where to look. Because I've read that. I've got to be honest, I got to read it again because those initiatives are thick. But I haven't seen that.
Ian, did you read it yourself? Have you read it?
No. Just like you, rumors. I wanted to ask a professional such as yourself. You see a lot of people on Instagram posting, their opinions about Alma, obviously.
Here's what you got to do, Ian, is you got to read it yourself.
Yes.
You really need to read it. You can't rely on everybody else out there.
And you can't rely on the summaries.
Yeah.
There was a recent lawsuit from the no on Prop 64 people against the pro 64 people about the blurb they were going to put in with the voter pamphlet.
Right.
And the judge felt that it was accurate enough, and they're able to use that summary. But it's still just a summary. Don't rely on those. We're urging people. It might take you a whole weekend, but if you care enough about it, you need to go. You can Google Prop 64. I'm sure it's not that hard, and pull it up and sit down and read it.
There it is.
Well, sounds like I have some work cut out for me, man.
I mean, everybody out there.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen where it's going to overturn Prop 215.
Man, you're cool, man, because I know Prop 64 is going to be a huge downgrade to the cannabis community, in my opinion. That's the way it stands currently, and that's what I was worried about. And in hopes that Prop 64 does not pass, we could push forward with CCHI and get things correct. You know what I mean?
You want CCHI, my friend? You're going to need to get out there and push.
You need to get people registered and get them to vote. You can do it, Ian. Thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate your call.
Thanks,
All
bud.
right, thank you.
All right, bye now. So, getting back into things, it's 101.5 KLCI. We're taking live callers today. So, again, if you're out there, it's 949-650-1015. Call us up, ask us questions about cannabis, tell us your opinions on it. Again, it's your world. Call us up. Right now, I think Bob is back on the line. And if you're out there and you want to come back in, give us a call. We'll pick you up. So going back over to Doc, I think we left off. You were in New York, right?
Yep.
Okay. So how many? Let me ask you this: how did you get into the recovery world? I mean, helping people out, or was it just a passion, or was it something that you had first line experience from?
It seems like you know the answer to that.
I don't. I just assume.
Okay, you haven't listened to the show. Well, I'm sober. I've been sober for almost 5 years now.
Okay. Yeah.
And my drug of choice was opiates.
Okay.
That's not to say that it didn't include a lot of marijuana with that.
Sure.
And when I first got sober, I always used to think perhaps I can go back to just using a lighter substance. I was never an alcoholic. I was never a heavy pot smoker. But from what I've learned about cross addiction, you typically safer to avoid all types of drugs. So that's how I got into it. I got sober. I was practicing addiction medicine prior to getting sober, but then it became my passion, almost mandated that I do this.
Right. Right.
So it was, it's been nothing but fulfilling and helping people that really need it.
I think it's awesome that you take the time to give back to that community. I mean, I personally, just because we're out there in the community of cannabis, we hear so many stories of people that are caught on addiction. And it's funny because we hear the side that cannabis has helped me. And they're like, cannabis has got me away from doing this.
Reverse gateway drug.
Yeah.
And it can be.
Right. And it may or may not be. If for somebody, if it is, it is. And if it isn't, it isn't.
Everybody's different. So many stories.
Yeah.
Every brain. I look at everybody's a brain, and every brain is different.
Yes.
Well, I mean, because also people... They look at us and we medicate, and we're very successful professionals, and
they wonder how we medicate so much.
I had a friend though ask, her brother used marijuana, and he's a loser, and my response sometimes is, And it sounds like kind of what you're saying. If you're an addict, if you have an addictive personality, nothing is good for you.
Sure.
So if you're going to be a lazy bum, you may just be a lazy bum using these things.
You know what? I look at addiction as that I put no moral overtones on addiction. If you're not, if you're using any substance, whatever it is, marijuana or otherwise, if you are not connecting, if you're not living the life that you want to live because of something's in the way, and you're coming to me to help you, you know,